Hi everyone, I'm Florian Ling. I'm a professional options and futures trader, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how I built an options price calculator using no-code tools. This is actually a little project of mine, and this video is a bit more spontaneous and not scripted at all, because I was working on this tool that can help me calculate the value of options live in the market to understand my risk, and I thought this would be a very interesting video series to actually upload and show you guys how I'm using these no coding tools to create actual value with my trading. So before I go into showing you what I already have and what kind of the status quo is, I want to tell you a bit about the reason for this. So often, especially with very illiquid options, I'm unsure about what my risk is. And for those of you who actually trade options and futures themselves, they know how important it is to understand your risk. So oftentimes, I would be in a position where I wonder how much I would actually lose if it were to go to the downside, as with options, there's no clear answer for this. And therefore, especially for liquid options, which haven't traded at the price where my stop loss level would be, I really wanted to find out what the options would be trading at, which is why I use Cursor, which you'll see in this video right now, to understand and quickly calculate the value of these options as if they were trading at those prices. Further on, in this video, you'll also see the next steps I'm taking, implementing a P&L tracker that allows you to put in a stop loss and a take profit level, calculate your risk based on your position size, and then also give you the risk reward ratio, which is so important. I've also have other features planned within the future, but those will be part of different videos. If you're more interested in this coding kind of content, I actually have a full YouTube channel dedicated to just using no coding tools, which I'll link in the description. Also, if you're interested in more trading related content, check out my channel, where I'm uploading weekly watch lists, daily watch lists, and trade recaps. But let's get right into showing you what my current status is. So the first thing I did is I used ChatGPT, as you can see here, to do the initial prompt. And I just basically told him about like basic things that I want, how things are supposed to work, what kind of features the app is supposed to have. And it helped me then finding, the right way of calculating the options, which is like the Black-Scholes model or Monte Carlo. And it just generally allowed me to kind of have a first prompt that I can then put into Cursor, which will then be able to really get the prompt going for me. And I just had the first initial info and then try to get into more of a project based overview here. As you can see, again, this is going to be slotted into Cursor, which makes it super easy to code these kind of tools, as you're just able to use what you have in your head, use ChatGPT to make the prompt, and then it gives you a really good first prototype, which I then tried out and built on new first, because I wasn't sure how much I liked the idea. As you can see here, built on new built the tool for me with the initial prompt that I gave it, and it already gave me here the good option prices, which I really did enjoy. And I thought at that point, actually, you know what, this might be something really good. Let me use Cursor for this, as it's a bit more sophisticated. You can do a bit more stuff. It's also a bit more difficult to use yourself, but as you can see here, this is Cursor. And I just did the exact same thing again, putting in the initial prompt, and then basically Cursor goes to work and allows me to make some changes to it. It gives me the initial prototype, creates a whole project, the whole coding base for it, creating different files and everything. It really is your best friend when it comes to like coding initial prototypes, and it's a lot more sophisticated than built on new, and it just gives you the ability to customize things a lot more than like built on new or Lovable would do, as those are just like pure consumer facing tools, while Cursor is also used by very knowledgeable engineers at big tech companies. But now let me show you what I actually have now as kind of the result of this work with Cursor. So as you can see here, I have this bit of a graph which Cursor just add, but I have no real use for yet. And then I have here the actual opportunity to calculate the option value, where you can put in the strike price and the underlying price, and generally put in all the different parameters of the Black-Scholes model. Then you can also put in the interest rates here, which will allow you to really calculate everything, and everything is done on the back end with just the initial prompt that I gave Cursor, and then it built out this whole tool for me, which again shows how far along these kind of no coding AI tools are. And here I have an example for, as you can see, where it now gives me the different prices depending on like using the Black-Scholes model or the Monte Carlo model, and then also gives you the option Greeks, below. So what I want to focus on now is actually building out the P&L tracker where you're able to put in a stop loss level and a take profit level. And then in the back end, it calculates basically what the options would be at that theoretical price. As you can see with this tool, you can put in where the options are at right now. And then you would have to check each stop loss level and entry level and take profit level separately. But what I want to build out is a tool where you can put in the underlying prices and it does all the calculations at once so you can compare them really well. And then also it gives you the risk to reward ratio and the general loss based on the position size. So that's what I'm going to be building out now. I'll show you how I'm going to go about this. I hope you got a good overview of where I'm at right now, and then we'll see each other in the next section. So I'm back now, and basically what I want to do is I want to give Cursor a prompt now so it can make the changes to our current status and then implement the P&L tracker. So I'll show you what kind of prompt I'm using, and I'll show you the result after Cursor's done some work here. So I've written down the prompt on another screen, so I'll read it into Cursor right now. So the next thing I kind of want to implement is a section where you can put in the price, profit price of the underlying and stop loss price of the underlying, and then the system calculates the theoretical value of both these prices, and also gives you the prices at the current moment. And then profit and loss is also asking how many contracts you're trading, which then gives you the percentage on the winning side and the losing side, and gives you the overall risk and risk reward ratio. Right, so now I put in this prompt, and Cursor is going to work on it now in the back end and make the changes that I requested it to do. And then I'll see you in a sec when it has made those changes now. So I'm back now. This took a few minutes, but I can now show you what Cursor has given us, which is, as you can see here, I have created, it's basically the same kind of graphic that we've had before. And you can still calculate the option price as you could before. But what I've added now, actually, where it gives you the prices, what I've added now is that when you scroll down, you can see you can now put in a take profit level and a stop loss level, and then calculates the option prices in the back end, and then comparing it to the current level, it then gives you a percentage return of what the option price would be at when you hit your take profit, and it gives you a return of what the option price would be at if you make a loss. And basically this way you can see kind of the risk to reward ratio as well here, as it takes the profit and the loss and then compares them to finally get that profit. And it also gives you then, depending on how many contracts you put in, the total position size, and therefore then can calculate the nominal value of your gains and losses, which is also very helpful to kind of have a more standardized risk across all your position and trades without having to think about how many contracts you actually need to take. And maybe a little bit now on how I got here. So first I put in, as you saw with the initial prompt, all the things that I wanted to change, but usually with these no coding tools that doesn't really work as well, and it's better to just give the prompts to them or the tasks to them one by one, which I then actually did. And I told Cursor here one by one what I actually wanted to get done, and just made sure that it can follow all the steps, and then just check in if it actually understood what I'm doing here. And then the next step and the next step to make sure that it's building the tool step by step, which is just, by the way, so much better than just putting it all in, as it usually messes up, and also develops like a mind of its own most of the time. And it's really, these tools are really good if you give them a lot of guidance, but they might not work as well if you let them do it themselves. Basically, the only thing that I want to change now, looking at this, is kind of I want to get this risk analysis gone from the layout wise, because it's not really that important. And the Greeks are nice, but they don't necessarily have to be shown. And I'd rather have the profit and loss further up. Again, these graphs not as important either. So I'm going to make these kind of changes to the UI right now. So I'll be back once I've done that and show you how things have changed. So as you can see, I'm back. Cursor has made the changes. We have now shifted up our profit and loss, our take profit and stop loss levels. And we've also added this really cool graph where you can see the option price develop over time, depending on different underlying prices. One thing that I did realize just now though is that the risk to reward is missing. So I'm going to add that right now. So now you can see I've added the risk to reward ratio. And generally this is kind of where I want to leave it for today's video. I've added this nice P&L where you can look at the take profit and the stop loss, and gives you the risk to reward ratio. You can also see how the option price is going to develop over time given the underlying. And I have a lot of different features planned for future videos as well, where you can save your trades and then track them over time, which is a really nice feature. So if you're interested in that, definitely let me know and write me a comment on it. And if you have any other ideas that this tool could entail, then let me know down below. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to my channel. Also check out different videos on my channel where it's the weekly watch list or the daily watch lists. So definitely do check that out as well. And with that being said, I hope to see you in the next video. SCG.